They say a reputation takes a lifetime to build, but only seconds to destroy. And in a world where truth travels at a snail's pace, while lies spread like wildfire, one man was about to learn just how dark a shadow a lie can cast. This is the story of a billionaire destroyed by an accusation, and the comeback that would change the course of justice forever. Marcus Wellington. It was a name that Wall Street admired and tech giants feared. The world called him a visionary. From a humble dorm room startup, he had forged a $15 billion empire, Nexus Technologies. His company powered entire nations, employed tens of thousands, and was literally rewriting the future of cloud computing. Charities praised him, magazines put him on their covers, and even presidents sought his counsel. Marcus had it all: unimaginable wealth, unwavering respect, a loving family, and a legacy that felt immortal. But here's the thing about standing on the peak of reputation: you're never truly safe. Because power doesn't just attract admiration, it attracts envy. And envy, my friends, is a master of disguise, often masquerading as righteousness. It all started with a single tweet. A message that would detonate like a bomb, shattering an empire in its shockwave. A former employee, Jennifer Caldwell, sent her words echoing across the internet. "Marcus Wellington assaulted me." The hashtag spread like a virus. Screens lit up across the world, from Tokyo to Toronto. Marcus just stood there, frozen. Shock paralyzed his eyes, and a cold fear gripped his heart. Before he could even catch his breath, 3 more accusations followed. They were from names he didn't even recognize, telling stories that made no sense, that didn't align. But in the deafening courtroom of public outrage, truth didn't matter. He was already guilty in the world's eyes. Within hours, his own board forced him out. Investors fled like rats from a sinking ship. His most loyal partners abandoned him. His company, his life's work, lost billions in a single day. Reporters set up camp outside his home, their cameras like vultures circling a kill. Just the mention of his name became toxic. Friends he'd known for decades vanished. His wife, Catherine, the woman who had believed in him more than anyone on earth, stood strong at first. But even the strongest hearts can break under that kind of pressure. Their children were bullied relentlessly at school. Their perfect life was torn to shreds, and soon she left too. Not because she doubted his innocence, but because the world had weaponized doubt itself. The man who once built empires now found himself utterly alone in a cramped, rented apartment, watching his entire legacy burn to the ground on the nightly news. 6 months of silence. 6 months of damning headlines. 6 months of being branded a monster. The evidence that proved his innocence was there all along. Travel logs, emails, eyewitnesses. But nobody cared. Truth whispers, but lies roar. One night, sitting in the darkness, a bottle of pills sat on the table in front of him. A single haunting question echoed in the silent apartment. Does my life even matter anymore? And then, his phone buzzed. A single cryptic message appeared on the screen. "I know the truth. Call me." The message was from Rachel Kim, a quiet voice holding an explosive truth. She unraveled the whole scheme, the meticulously crafted lies, the conspiracy born from a bitter desire for revenge and fueled by pure greed. She had the evidence that was intentionally hidden, the messages that were saved. The proof that the world had never even bothered to look for. Marcus wasn't just innocent. He had been hunted. He was targeted, systematically destroyed for profit and for attention. Armed with this undeniable truth, he fought back. He hired the best investigators who uncovered everything: the fraudulent claims, the hidden financial motives, the legal manipulation. They even found others whose lives had been destroyed by these same false accusations. But the media? Utter silence. The same outlets that had screamed his guilt from the rooftops had absolutely nothing to say about his innocence, because outrage sells. Apologies? Not so much. Marcus could have just disappeared, taken his remaining money, and lived a quiet life. But instead, he rose. He used his resources to create the Due Process Defense Fund, a shield for the falsely accused, a voice for those the world had silenced, and a light for those who had been crushed by the weight of lies. Case by case, life by life, he fought. He won. He saved countless others from the personal hell that he had survived. Years later, the world finally started to listen again. His testimony before the Senate went viral, but this time, he wasn't speaking as a billionaire. He was speaking as a survivor of a public execution without evidence. And slowly, the narrative began to change. Justice started to evolve. And his family? They slowly found their way back to him. It wasn't the old life they returned to, but a new one. Stronger, wiser, full of purpose. Standing once again at a window, not in a lavish penthouse, but in the humble office of his foundation, Marcus smiled. He had lost everything that money could possibly buy, but in doing so, he had found everything that money couldn't. On his wall hangs a quote: "The obstacle in the path becomes the path." His true legacy wasn't Nexus Technologies. His legacy was hope. It was justice. It was truth. This wasn't a story about a billionaire's comeback. It was the story of a man reborn, not to reclaim glory, but to defend the innocent from the very storm he had survived. The shadow of lies tried to destroy him, but instead, he became the light that fought back. Thank you so much for watching. If this story moved you, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing to our channel for more content like this. We'll see you in the next one.